study aimed to determine the necessity, practicality, and effectiveness of implementing online face-to-face communication between postgraduate health sciences students and their tutor. The study was conducted at Curtin University. The main campus is located in Perth, Australia. Curtin has several campuses across Western Australia and also offers higher education to many international and external students. Curtin's Centre for International Health offers programs from graduate certificate through to doctoral level and delivers its postgraduate courses primarily via flexible mode of delivery. External students were the target population for this study. Non-traditional modes of study that grant students control over their learning experience, such as flexible delivery, are attractive to the ever-diversifying student body. Today, higher education includes students who may never visit a university campus, but complete their entire program of study through flexible delivery and interact with their educators almost exclusively through computer-mediated communication, or CMC. CMC was originally designed to increase social connectivity, and examples include synchronous chat and computer conference systems, email, news groups, support networks, bulletin boards and homepages, and more recently, social network sites such as MySpace and Facebook. One of the attractions of flexible delivery mode is student control over the time, pace, and place of their learning. While flexible delivery has many benefits, some disadvantages identified include the lack of organisational support at either faculty or institutional levels, the requirements for additional resources, and the minimal or non-existent face-to-face contact. This study was focused on the contact or communication between tutor and students. This research sought to determine the necessity, practicality, and effectiveness of implementing virtual online face-to-face communication between individual postgraduate students and their tutor to enhance the learning experience of those studying via flexible delivery. The authors were also interested in students' uptake, perceptions, and experience of this mode of communication. This study was conducted over a 14-week semester from July to November 2008. The sample chosen was students enrolled in 2 units offered via flexible delivery through CIH. The units were research and evaluation and topics in international health, as they generally have reasonable enrolment rates. Although this was not a large sample, this mode of communication requires investigation before broad implementation, as it may not be practical or desirable for students or educators. And so this sample was considered an exemplar case study. In the first week of the semester, the tutor emailed her students with the details of the study and to announce the availability of CMC as an alternative mode of communication. Students were asked to organise a mutually convenient date and time with the tutor before they began to chat via Skype or MSN. The tutor recorded her experience throughout the semester, including student details, duration of contact, and any difficulties encountered. Students' experiences were assessed using an online survey. All enrolled students were emailed the link to an online questionnaire in their penultimate week of semester. The survey explored student perception of current services and communication, their experience of flexible delivery mode, and their uptake of and experience of virtual online face-to-face communication. Demographic data were collated to allow for an investigation of their effect on student perception and uptake of services. These were sex, age, country of residence, previous and current study. 31 students responded to the questionnaire, of a possible 42, giving a response rate of 74%. The majority of students surveyed were female, living in Australia, and identified as having an Australian background. Their ages range from 20 to 55, with more than 80% older than 25 and almost half older than 35. 87% of the respondents worked, many of them full-time. 7 students agreed this communication enhanced their learning experience. Although a high proportion of respondents indicated that the questions related to the learning experience and learning outcomes did not apply to them although neither agreed nor disagreed, there was support for implementation of this communication. 16 students indicated they would like CMC, such as Skype or NSN, to be made available in other units, and 11 said they would use such communication if offered. Students were also given the opportunity to comment on their experience of flexible delivery mode and CMC. The 4 students who used the communication offered found it to be a positive experience, indicating that the tutor was very responsive to email communication and that Skype was useful for specific or complicated questions. Another student also found it to be particularly useful with face-to-face communication, as she could understand the information the tutor was giving. This study was also intended to trial CMC and provide insight into students' experience of their course. Their positive experience was best exemplified by one student, who actually felt that the external experience of Curtin University resulted in more contact than during her undergraduate degree she had done internally at a different university. The tutor's time spent implementing Skype and MSN communication totaled 3 hours over the semester, indicating that the addition of this CMC did not increase her workload significantly. The tutor also indicated she preferred to use MSN or Skype when available, or telephone communication, to address more complex questions than email, as she found email more time-consuming. Virtual, whether it's visual or face-to-face communication, has the advantage of both verbal and non-verbal signals, which provide multiple opportunities for clarification of meaning, where forms of CMC such as email do not. Several students commented that CMC was useful for questions that were not suited to email. Although only 4 students used the communication, 7 indicated it had positively affected their learning experience, suggesting the use and availability of a service can improve a student's experience. As only a few students made use of CMC, this could be perceived as an unnecessary service to offer, and confirmation the university is meeting the needs of its students. However, CMC's practicality and effectiveness as a communication tool is reflected in the positive experience of the tutor and students who used it, as demonstrated by their feedback. The authors suggest the necessity of such a tool is of less importance than its potential to enhance the learning experience of students. It may be that a postgraduate, slightly older student sample is less inclined to adopt new technology. Some students gave their lack of a camera or microphone as reasons for not using CMC, but 16 said they had no need for this form of communication. This may have been due to their having already experienced university, or because they felt well supported already. Several students indicated they would use CMC with assistance. Although this study is unable to provide strong evidence that this form of CMC will improve student learning, it has demonstrated that students have positive learning experiences when well supported and provided adequate opportunities for communication with their tutor. However, further research should look into the relationship between CMC and learning outcomes. 4 of the 42 enrolled students used the CMC offered, and 31 responded to the survey. This is not a large sample, and the student profile is quite homogeneous. This makes any inferences contestable, as there may be students not represented in the sample. Consideration should be given to such groups of students who may be unable to use this communication. The benefits of offering CMC are reduced if remote and/or technologically limited locations further disadvantage students, leading to increased feelings of isolation and a diminished rather than enhanced learning experience. This case exemplar indicates how practical and effective CMC can be between a tutor and postgraduate health sciences students. Few students chose to utilise the CMC, but those that did had a positive experience. Although not necessary, CMC is desirable, as even those students who did not make use of the communication offered consider it a potentially useful tool.